everybody. Welcome into the preview show, Refreshed by Coca-Cola. I'm Alex Weaver here with Jonathan Merryman. Talladega, we got what we expected. It was a wild one.
Yeah, we had a couple of big ones, and we had to stretch it out over 2 days, but you know, that'll happen sometimes. But we came away with a really, really good show down in Alabama.
A great finish. Ryan Blaney with the 007 second finish over Ryan Newman. Talk about a victory. He finally gets one that's on 4 turns.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's been over a year since Ryan Blaney has won, so he had been needing that win. He was the last driver in that list of 4 drivers that were below the cut line, so he needed to really win. It wasn't a must win, but it sure is better to win your way into the next round than to point your way out of that hole he was in. So yeah, Ryan Blaney getting it done at Talladega. He's locked into the next round. I do think they have a little bit of a steep hill to climb in the next round, just with the quality of guys they're going to be racing and the amount of points that they're going to take over, but you got to be in it to win it, and he's in it.
Well, the 12 and the 42 are locked in, and speaking of taking a beating in points, Hendrick Motorsports, the 3 drivers over there in the playoffs, took a beating in Talladega.
I mean, you talk about, you know, flipping the script after that race. I mean, you know, and they caught a couple of breaks. Guys like Alex Bowman did catch a couple of breaks during the race after he was out with some of these, you know, race car drivers wrecking out and not finishing as high as they would have. But what didn't do them any favors is Ryan Blaney winning. That moves that cut line down now. So all 3 Hendrick Motorsports drivers are out of the cut, but we look back at the spring. Bowman finished 2nd at Kansas. We look back last year. Chase Elliott won at Kansas. William Byron is the only one I'm really worried about out of that group. But, you know, I think you're going to have to win this race if you're below the cut line. There's going to be no pointing your way in, I think.
Yep. All right, well, let's flip the script and look ahead to Kansas this weekend. Let's take a look at the Coca-Cola Racing family first. Denny Hamlin, I felt like, played Talladega probably the best that he could have. It's not his best track.
Yeah, they knew that they were going to have to kind of lay back a little bit. He kind of felt those wrecks building and coming on. He wanted to be there with a couple laps to go, said so over the radio. And Denny Hamlin's really, really, really good at these super speedways, so he knows what's going on. Joey Logano, he took an opposite approach. He was up front most of that race. He ended up getting wrecked, but was able to salvage, you know, a top 15 finish out of that deal. He's now above that cut line, 18 points, leading Alex Bowman. He's going to have to go to Kansas, Alex. He's going to have to get stage points in both if he wants to feel comfortable in a top 5 or top 10 finish, barring catastrophe or somebody below the cut line winning.
Well, Kyle Larson is part of that racing family with Coke too, and he is locked in, so he's safe. Kansas, can somebody below the cut line, say we have like Clint Boyer, it's his home track, you mentioned Chase Elliott winning, Alex Bowman came in P2 last year, can they win it?
Yeah, I mean, look, we talked about this almost every week of, you know, who are you worried about, who are you worried about? And I've, you know, been up front, I'm not worried about anybody. And so far they've proved me right, because 2 guys that came into the round of 12 below the cut line have won these 2 races. Can we go 3 for 3 on that? I'm not so sure. If you look at the history of, you know, this Kansas race, guys like Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., those are the guys who run well here. But, you know, Clint Boyer's got extra incentive. He's running for a championship. It's his home track. He'd love to lock his way in. And William Byron's going for that first win, and we all know the other 2 Hendrick cars were fast here.
Well, can you look to those usual suspects to get into victory lane? They're the guys I feel like we always talk about at Kansas.
Yeah, I think if you're going to win this race, it's got to go through the 19, it's going to go through the 4, it's going to go through the 2. The 22 I'm not so sure about, but guys like Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, you're going to have to beat those guys if you want to win this race.
All right, we're in the pressure cooker for the NASCAR playoffs. Who you got?
I'm feeling the 4 car this weekend. It's been a while since they've won, and I just feel like that, you know, we're back to 1.5 miles. I think Rodney Childers, Kevin Harvick, you know, the last couple times we've been on 1.5 miles, they've done really well, so I think they're going to do okay.
A guy that feels like it's been a while for me that has won has been the 19 of Martin Truex. It hasn't been that long, but it feels like it. So I'm going to go with Truex and Cole Pearn to get it done in Kansas.
Not a bad one.
All right, we're racing. It's the Elimination Race for the round of 8 coming up this weekend, Sunday, 2:30 p.m. on NBC. We'll see you guys right back here on the preview show next week.